Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to my channel. In this video, we will discover the mystery of the law of sowing and reaping, why we cannot interfere with others' consequences. The law of sowing and reaping is a timeless principle that echoes through the pages of sacred texts, resonates in the natural world, reverberates in the human heart. It teaches that every action, thought, and intention we sow inevitably yields a corresponding result, whether for good or ill, as Galatians 6 verse 7 reminds us. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Though this law seems straightforward on the surface, its deeper mysteries reveal profound truths about personal responsibility, divine justice, and the limits of human intervention. One of the greatest dilemmas that we encounter in life is watching those we love suffer the consequences of their actions while feeling powerless to prevent or alleviate their pain. In this video, this essay explores why, despite our deepest desires to help others, we often cannot interfere with the unfolding of this law, for to do so would be to interrupt the divine order. Understand the law of sowing and reaping. The law of sowing and reaping is the universal principle that governs both the physical and spiritual realms. It's like a farmer planting seed in the field. The type of seed determines the kind of harvest. Sow kindness, and you will reap kindness. Sow deceit, you will reap mistrust and betrayal. Sow discipline and diligence, you will reap success. Sow laziness and negligence, you will reap lack and regret. This law is impartial and unyielding. Just as seed takes time to grow and bear fruit, the consequences of our actions may not be immediately visible. However, they will always manifest in due season. For whatever man sows, that he will also reap. Galatians 6 verse 7. This law emphasizes the importance of taking responsibility for our actions and understanding that no one can escape the consequences of what they have sown. The mystery, why we cannot intervene in others' consequences. Why compassion compels us to shield others from pain and consequences. The mystery of the law of sowing and reaping reveals that intervention is not always possible, or is it always wise or beneficial. Interfering with this divine process can often do more harm than good, robbing others of their lessons they need to learn and delaying their spiritual growth. First, interference disrupts divine justice. The law is an expression of divine justice, a perfect balance between cause and effect. When we attempt to rescue someone from the consequences of their actions, we risk disturbing this balance. Proverbs 19 verse 19 warns, quote, a hot-tempered person must pay the penalty. Rescue them and you will have to do it again. End quote. By intervening, we may prevent temporary discomfort, but the root of the behavior remains unaddressed. Consequently, the same patterns resurface, often with greater intensity. Second, suffering is often a catalyst for transformation. Pain and hardship are often instruments God used to refine and transform us. Without experiencing the consequences of poor choices, people may never feel compelled to change. Consider a parable of the prodigal son, Luke 15:11 to 32. The son squandered his inheritance and found himself destitute and alone. It was only when he came to his senses amid the suffering of his consequences that he returned to his father. Had someone intervened to rescue him earlier, he might never have realized the depth of his error and experienced genuine repentance. Just as the fire purifies gold, suffering purifies the heart and mind, leading to deeper awareness and transformation. Third, intervening witness personal responsibility. When we continually shield others from the consequences of their actions, we unintentionally foster dependency and weakness. True growth occurs when individuals take ownership of their decisions and face the result, good or bad. Galatians 6 verse 5 states, quote, "For each one should carry their own load," end quote. Carrying one's load builds resilience, wisdom, and maturity. When we take away that burden, we deny others the opportunity to develop strength and accountability. For rescuing can lead to enabling. In our desire to help, we may unknowingly enable destructive patterns. When people know they will be rescued regardless of their choices, they are less motivated to change. Proverbs 13 verse 24 say, quote, "Whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is carefully to discipline them." End quote. Discipline and consequences serve as teachers, guiding people toward a path of righteousness. Intervening prematurely interrupts that process and reinforces harmful behaviors. The paradox of compassion helping with hindering. This law represents a paradox. How do we remain compassionate without interfering with divine justice? The answer lies in distinguishing between helping and rescuing. Helping empowers people to face their own consequences with strength and wisdom. It involves offering guidance, support, and encouragement while allowing the natural consequences of their actions to unfold. Rescuing shields people from experiencing the consequences of their choices, often create a cycle of dependency and stagnation. First, pray without interfering. Prayer is one of the most powerful ways we can help without intervening. Through prayer, we invite God's wisdom and mercy into the lives of those we love without disrupting the natural order. Philippians 4 verse 6 reminds us, quote, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God," end quote. Offer guidance, not rescue, providing wise counsel, sharing experiences, and offering emotional support allow us to help without interfering. We can offer direction and wisdom without taking on the burden of others' decisions. Proverbs 11:4 says, quote, "For lack of guidance a nation falls, but victory is won through many advisors." End quote. Set boundaries with love. Boundaries protect both the giver and the receiver. When we establish clear boundaries, we allow others to bear the weight of their actions while remaining healthy relationships. Proverbs 4:23 advises, quote, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." End quote. Allow consequences to teach, just as God allows us to experience the consequences of our actions to teach us. We must sometimes allow others to learn through their own struggles. Hebrews 12 verse 11 affirms, quote, "No discipline seemed pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produced a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it." End quote. When to step in discernment in compassion, while it is often necessary to let others face their own consequences, there are situations where stepping in is appropriate, particularly in cases that extreme danger, abuse, or someone lacks of capacity to make sound decisions. Discernment, guided by prayer and wisdom, is key. James 1 verse 5 assures us, quote, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." End quote. Conclusion. Embracing the mystery of divine justice. The law of sowing and reaping is a profound reminder that life is governed by divine justice, and every individual must take responsibility for their actions, while our heart may ache to protect those we love from pain. True love often means allowing them to face the consequences of their choices. By stepping aside, we make room for God to work in their lives, transforming their hearts and guiding them toward lasting growth and wisdom. As Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 declares, quote, "There is time for everything and a season for every activity under heavens." End quote. Let us therefore have the courage to trust the divine process, offering our love, prayers, and support while allowing the law of sowing and reaping to unfold as God intended. Through this, we honor not only the free will of others, but also unfailing wisdom of the Creator. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the video. Please click subscribe button for upcoming videos. Thank you.